You are listening to the Blueprint Raw podcast, where we discuss all things health, fitness, nutrition, training, and lifestyle. At Blueprint, we help people from all walks of life. Whether you're looking to get back into fitness, lose weight, gain muscle, or prepare for a specific event, we can help you get there. Please welcome your host, strength and conditioning coach, and owner of Blueprint Health and Fitness, Craig Bridgeland.
Hey all, welcome along to another episode of Blueprint Raw. Hope everyone is having a great week. Today I have a special guest. We have Caitlin here with me. Caitlin won our most recent major challenge. Caitlin has been with Blueprint for 3.5 years. And as I've started to do with previous challenge winners, get them on the podcast, get them to talk about their experiences, their time with Blueprint, in the hope that it can have a positive impact on not only our community, but anyone who happens to listen to the podcast and might not be sure about training, might not be sure if training's for them, what Caitlin's got out of it and what the clients get out of it, and you know what it's like to be a part of this community we have here at Blueprint, which is a pretty special community. So welcome, Caitlin.
Thank you.
Thank you for agreeing to come on the podcast. So yes, tell us a little bit about you. It can be anything, what you do for work.
Well, so I work for a company called Boeing Defence Australia. I work in program management there. I'm a project coordinator. I recently celebrated my 31st birthday.
Getting old, bro.
Getting old, getting wise.
Yeah.
Also recently moved down to the Gold Coast from Brisbane. So yeah, it's been a big year of change. So it's been good.
Yeah, awesome. And I think I did mention it, but how long have you been with Blueprint?
3.5 years.
3.5 years. And
Yep.
What made you start with us?
Well, probably like two things, because I think the first one was Emma, who trains with us.
Yep.
She and I worked together, so I actually saw that she started going to Blueprint, and
I think she was the first guest I ever did on this.
yeah. So she started doing the CBTs with boot camps back then, and I think it also coincided with a Groupon voucher that you had
Yep.
advertised. So I did that and started coming to the lunchtime sessions out in Kangaroo Point, and I think I did those for about a year before I actually took the plunge and did personal training.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and were you doing anything before you started with us, fitness-wise?
Oh, term fitness loosely. I was doing reformer Pilates for probably 2 or 3 years before that.
Yep.
On and off.
Yep.
So it was enough to kind of keep me going, but not enough to actually tone up or get fitter and stronger and push past to that like next stage.
Yeah. Had you ever had a personal trainer before me?
Oh, mildly.
Yeah.
Because obviously I was with Fate and Fitness back in the day when they were
Yeah,
here.
that's right. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
I trained with Mark doing their group classes.
Yep.
And then towards the end, before I left them, I started personal training, but just
Yeah, okay.
wasn't on the same level.
Yeah, I mean, you got to find someone that works for you.
Yeah.
As that saying that everyone will know that listens to this is that I am not for everyone and everyone isn't for me, or everyone isn't for us. And that can be the same for anything. It doesn't really matter, you know, who you find, as long as they work for you and that you're getting results. That's the big part of it. So,
Yeah.
how often do you so obviously you've just moved down the coast. We're training doing double sessions twice a day now.
Yep.
To trying to make up for that, and you're doing some stuff outside. Mm-hmm. But when you won the challenge, how often were you training when we were doing that?
Oh, probably somewhere between 7 and 9 sessions a week,
Yep.
which was obviously a mix between the CBTs. I think I was doing 3 PT sessions a week.
Yep.
And then whenever I got a chance, I'd either go for a run or do one of the home workouts that we had just while I was at home and had 30 minutes to do something. So
Yep.
about 9.
Yeah. And how did you find that volume of training?
It was a lot to start with, because I think outside of challenges I kind of do between 5 and 7.
Yep.
And that was kind of that normal pace for me. So to do 9, I think most days I was doing doubles.
Yeah.
Towards the end, and then Sunday was the only day I kind of didn't do anything other than a run. So to start with, it's hard to fit it in, but then once you kind of do it, your body gets used to doing that movement and doing the work, so you kind of wake up expecting to go do that. And if I got to 4 o'clock in the afternoon and I had been at my desk all day and hadn't moved, I felt like I'd, left the oven on or something wasn't right because I hadn't gotten up and moved.
And it's a big part of it. It's having that someone there to keep you accountable and knowing that you have to turn up. And I guess that's, the big challenge that I have of when challenges aren't on is getting people to maintain those routines. And I have thought plenty of times, are challenges worth doing? Are they old and redundant now? Because of that, drop off, so to speak, that you do have after the challenge. And I guess it comes back to, well, yes, they are worth doing because they add so much more than they take away. And also then it's my job to educate people that, not to do like the whole reverse thing. And I guess that's where, that's the biggest, again, challenge that I have is trying to get people not to, take 2 steps forward and then 3 steps backwards, because it does happen. You fall out of that, well, I'm not in a challenge anymore, so I don't have to.
Can relax.
Yeah, so I can relax. What do you enjoy most about the challenges? Because you've done multiple challenges.
Yeah, this was my 3rd.
Yeah, you've won a major.
Mini. Tied in a mini. And then,
you won the mini, yeah.
Yeah, tied in my first major and then won the last major.
Yeah.
What I got most out of them?
Yeah, like what did you get most out? Like, what do you think when you do a challenge? What do you finish it and go, why? This is what I enjoyed the most out of this challenge.
Oh, I think this one was a lot different to the last major one I did because it was the first time I did a major, and the fitness tests the first time were really testing for me psychologically because I hadn't done them before, and it was still I'd had a year off, so I was trying to build that fitness back up. But with this last one, because I kind of already still had that fitness and I'd only had a few months off, and I found going into them this time mentally was a lot easier because I was like, well, it's
you kind of know what to expect, right?
Yeah, and I realized that, I could tell that I was getting fitter and stronger with each sort of week going forward. So then I'd get to a week and I'd be like, well, you kind of did the last one, so it's not going to be any worse than that.
Yeah.
I mean, surprisingly, it can be. Yeah. But I think my whole mindset going into it this time was a lot different. So even though I found them challenging and found doing 9 sessions exhausting and all the rest, you kind of just keep going, because I guess there is that, elusive goal at the end that you could potentially win, even though you don't ever go in and going, oh, I know I'm going to win.
No, yeah. And it's
always like, oh, it'd be nice.
And this challenge was super close with you, Chris and Tammy. Like, there's the big part about our challenges is you can have like someone like Chris and Tammy who have never won one, especially Tammy. She puts in an amazing effort every time, and someone has just pipped her every time. I mean, and that's the part you can't control about a challenge. You can only control your effort and the things you put into it. And, like anything, if you focus on your results and you're happy with everything that you put in, then, that's the best part out of it. Was there anything that you did during the challenge, or you found during the challenge, that was not hard? I guess hard's not the word I'm looking for. It's something maybe that you didn't look forward to, aside from the testing.
Well, no, I never didn't look forward to the testing, because I liked it. I liked that it was something different, and given that the group stuff that we do, or my PT sessions that I do, have elements of what was in the fitness test, but it wasn't ever, oh, I know I can do that because I did that last week. So it wasn't ever those. I think didn't enjoy or looked forward to, I think just knowing that it was 12 weeks of dedication. That I had to be disciplined with my food. I had to be consistent with my training, and I knew for me, my social life would take a hit, so there's that give and take of okay, well, how bad do I want this? If I want it really, really bad, is it worth the sacrifice? If yes, then it wasn't too bad, and I'm really lucky that my support network around me were like, okay, cool, she's doing another challenge. My friends took advantage of that and used me as the designated driver to go out.
Yeah.
But it still meant that I could go out and socialize and go clubbing sober. But
I mean, and that's a big part of it, is having that support network around you of people who, know that you're trying to better yourself, and it's not, or she doesn't do this, or he doesn't do this, or whatever it might be. It's very, very important that you have people, you surround yourself with people who, understand what you're trying to achieve and trying to go through. And that goes for a lot of different things. But, like if you want to do really well in a challenge, then there's things you do have to give up. Alcohol and, eating out a lot. Again, it all comes down to the results that you want to get over those 12 weeks. What do you feel, how do you feel like your nutrition went this time versus previous times?
I'm not going to say a lot about it because I definitely had moments where I slipped up, but the difference between this and the previous two is I actually set myself a goal that I didn't want to have any alcohol, and I knew the two before that I had slipped up and I had done that because I had events on that I wasn't willing to sacrifice. But this time, doing the 12 weeks with no alcohol just changed the way I looked at my training. And it changed the way I went into my training because I kept kind of saying, well, I can go and have that drink, but it's going to make me feel shit.
Yeah.
When I go and train, and if I have to front up to a fitness test on the Tuesday, am I just going to feel sluggish and horrible? Yes. Is it worth it? No. Sure, there were times where I, had a bit of takeout or had a bit of chocolate or something like that.
Yeah.
But it then became that mindset of, okay, well, this week you have to be completely consistent and you have to work harder because you've had that. So it kind of, I mentally talked myself around it, but I think the knowledge this time going into what food I needed to do when, and knowing that towards the end of the challenge we change up my food to kind of shock my body a little bit, knew that was coming, so I kind of started to prepare for those things.
Yeah, and it helps doing multiple challenges. Like generally people get their best results in their second or their third challenge. And it was super close. I mean, it was 900 grams of fat that if Chris had lost 900 grams more, he already lost like 7 or 8 kilos, then he would have taken it out. And had you then had those couple of drinks, then it would have maybe pushed made that number even smaller. Like back in the day, we had someone in their skin folds miss out by 2 mil from winning the challenge. You know what I mean? So if you do want to win one, you do have to make sure that you are dedicated, because if someone's more dedicated than you are, and like I say, you don't want to lose out by 1% and realise, fuck, I could have done more, and it was stuff that's totally within your control. Yeah.
And I think especially when we got towards the end, when we kind of knew that it was down to Tam, Chris and I, you going, well, who wants it more?
Yeah.
Like it kind
that was just me trying to stir the pot, though.
I know, but
because I could see, because it was driving all three of you, right? Like,
I know, because you kind of go, oh, maybe I'm in the top 3. Like, sure, maybe. And then once we knew, and then from that, I was like, okay, well, it's down to me and those two. And knowing that in previous years they had dropped big numbers and that they have consistently done, like every challenge was about back to back to back, I was like I knew it was going to be close. So that's why I was like, oh, I'm going to go for an extra run today. And then by doing that, Chris went for an extra run.
Yeah.
And then Tammy
went for extra run.
And then I went for another one the next day. So.
But that was awesome. You guys were pushing each other, and that was like really an awesome part of the community to see, is that you all wanted the best for each other, and you all cheer each other on during testing and stuff like that. And everyone wants to push each other and get a result for themselves, as well as get a result for each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you feel like is the biggest thing you've learnt? If you can narrow it down, it can even be a couple of things that you've learnt since you started at Blueprint.
To quote Craig, consistency is key.
Consistency is king. I know where I got that from. Yeah.
So, but pretty much because between like the first and second challenge, I had a year off. And yes, I was still training, but I wasn't dedicated. I wasn't really watching my food. And I was thinking that the training that I was doing would kind of just cut it. Because I'd done all the work, I'd gotten fitter, I'd gotten stronger. And I thought, okay, well, I've kind of gotten to here, and I'm just going to coast. And not realising that I needed to do the two together to kind of maintain that. Like, there's give and take. But, yeah, I think I'm realising that. And then when I did the second one to the third one, I was like, oh, okay, I get it now.
Well, it's very, very easy to, I'm seeing it now with clients just from the last one. It only finished, a month and a half ago, and there's already, clients that are back having a couple of drinks again, not following their food, not training as much. And I mean, you can do one of those things. You can not train as much and your food can still be good and not drink. If you start adding all three back into there, Like it's so easy just to go slightly backwards.
Yeah.
Like even for me, like I know since like leading up to the 12-week challenge party, which was in the middle of May, I was eating more treats, and then we had the big challenge party. There was shitloads of chocolate, ice cream left over, brownies, and I fucking ate them all. And I put on like 2 kilos of fat in like 4 weeks. It was so easy. And then leading up to my comp, which is coming up, I was like, fuck, I need to fine tune this. So I have been for 2 weeks, and I've dropped that 2 kilos of fat. Haven't changed anything else, just my nutrition. You know, so it just shows you, like, it's so important, and it's so easy to go, like, to get off track when you stop tracking it and when you stop understanding what you're putting into your body. It's so easy to do.
Yeah, well, I've even noticed coming back from this challenge, like, you know, I had the first few weeks where I was like, woohoo, I can eat something again. But even just coming back to like in the last couple of weeks, I've started to rein it in more and everything, and you notice the difference. Like, you know, I wasn't eating, not well, but like I wasn't putting the right fuel into my body considering how much I was training. So it's kind of going, oh, okay, well, I need to remember that I have to have, you know, certain amounts of protein. I need to watch what bits and treats and stuff I have, and it's really, really easy just to slide back into old habits, especially when there's, you know, always chocolate in our house.
Yeah. And how's 21 been for you in terms of your training, and how do you feel like moving down the coast is going to change the way you have to train and have to look at things? What are you doing outside of here now that because you're not here as much as you were before? What's your, like, I guess, contingency plans for making sure that we don't fall back into our old habits?
Yeah, well, I've actually now got our little run crew with my friends.
Yep.
A few of us run, so we've actually like created a run crew, so we actually go together.
Yep.
Because I actually really like the fact that now that I can run, because that was something I struggled with.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
So it was one of my goals was to
yeah, for sure.
run, and I could barely do 2Ks, let alone 5.
Yeah.
So it's good now that I've got a group of people to do that with. And
What'd you get for your birthday?
I got a surfboard.
Yeah. Active. Yeah.
So my plan is to start doing some surfing lessons and get in the water, and then that way it gives me a way to keep my body moving. That's different to how I've moved it
absolutely.
here. But also because I've got the strength and fitness behind me now that I feel like I can keep up, and I can do that quite capably.
Yep.
So it'd be a new way of keeping myself fit and keeping myself moving. So I'm kind of really excited to that because I love the water.
Yeah.
But then just, you know, we've got the home workouts at home. So it's just making that time of, you know, from 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon that I just get up and I go work out for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, however long those workouts take. Yeah. Just to do something.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And how do you view working and training now versus a couple of years ago?
Oh, completely differently. I think had I seen myself like where I am now, like 3.5 years ago, if someone's like, you would love working out, you would love lifting weights, I'd just be like,
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
Nice one.
Yeah.
Because I never was in it, like felt comfortable being in a gym lifting weights. Like I'd never go to a gym to do that. I'd go do like classes and stuff like that, which, you know, really isn't enough. But it's just the getting to the point where I am now and realizing that, you know, like the older I am, I'm actually far more stronger and capable and healthier than I was 3.5 years ago.
Yeah.
And my whole outlook on like life and fitness is completely different because of that.
Why do you think that changed? Do you think it's just a product of just being consistent with it, or do you think it's a product of you changing your mindset around training? Like, what do you think it is that's enabled you to get to this point now that you couldn't have done it, that you didn't get to before?
Oh, I definitely think it's both. Mindset is a huge part of it. And like prior to joining Blueprint and all that, I used to like think people were weird if they're like, oh, I run for me or I work out for me, and I used to never understand what people meant by that, but now I completely get it. I'm someone that needs to work out for not only my physical health but my mental health.
Yep.
And my whole mindset around that is like, I know I'm a happier person. I know I'm a better person if I've moved my body, if I've, pushed myself a little bit, because, I know I can do it. I know I can, whatever we do in the studio, I know physically now I can do it. It's not oh yeah, but it's I can't do that. I'm not strong enough to do that. It's completely different. It's like, oh, okay, cool. Like, is it going to hurt? Yes. Is it going to suck? Kind of. But
in a positive way.
In a positive way.
Yeah.
Like, it's now pushing through that, like, mental barrier of, well, you can do it, but can you do it better than you did yesterday or last week or last challenge or whatever?
Yeah. And what piece of advice do you think you'd give someone who was in your situation when you started, and then knowing what you know now 3.5 years later?
Just start. Don't wait. I wish I did it years and years before, because I waited till I got to a point where I was at that heaviest point I'd ever been. I think even though I was still doing the CBTs 2 or 3 times a week, I thought that was enough. And I went on a 5-week holiday and came back, I think 5 or 6 kilos heavier, and was just so unhappy and so uncomfortable in who I was, and was trying to deal with that mental battle of, it's okay, you've put on weight, it's fine, this is just where it's going to be. And then I think I woke up one day and looked in the mirror and I was like, no, I'm not okay with this. And that's when I think I said to you, I was like, all right, coming back after Christmas, PTs, we're starting them first week back at work. Yeah. It's going to be my routine from then on. And it has been. And because of that, I think my whole, the way I approach every situation now is different, because I now have that, mindset of, oh, okay, well, I can do that. Well, I am that person who needs to work out to be better. And because of that, I think I didn't deal with a lot of situations back then because I just didn't have the capacity. And, I was trying to go, well, deal with, personal situations in other ways, rather than just going, okay, well, you need an outlet. Yeah. You need to find something to kind of let off steam, or, have some selfish time that's just for you and it doesn't benefit anyone else.
Yeah. And I mean, doing that, well, I spoke about this with Larissa too, and the last chat that we did, it was about, you show up to be a better you so you can be better in other areas of your life. By showing up here and putting in the work, it allows you to be, a better partner, a better friend, a better work colleague, better in so many other areas. And I think that's one thing that people really don't give enough, attention to, or give enough, thought into, that if I'm a better version of myself, then I can be a better version of myself to other people as well. I mean, that's something that I've really, really learned over the last 3 years, is by being a fitter and healthier version of myself, I'm able to be a better dad, I'm able to be a better coach, I'm able to be a better friend, I'm able to be, you're able to influence and help a lot more people and be a better, better show up for a lot more people because you're showing up for yourself.
Absolutely. And, because I share my stories from Instagram that you post, when we work out, and I've had friends who have gone, oh my God, thank you so much. That's it. I'm going to go to the gym this afternoon and things like that. And I kind of go, well, I'm not really posting for anyone else but myself. Yeah, so but if someone else has taken something away from that and gone, okay, yep, no, let's do it. That's where I want to be too. Awesome, because that's the whole point of it, right? We do it so that everyone else around us, can
strives to be better.
Yeah, and look at themselves and go, okay, well, is there something I can be doing to improve my situation and stuff like that as well?
Yeah, like I say in my challenge kind of wrap up, I tell people, to share your photos and to share the stuff, because you never know who you're inspiring and you never know who's watching you. I think someone like Jess has had that with Amanda. Amanda's come in and made massive changes, and now Jess has made massive changes. And I always used to say that to Amanda, because Amanda was super uncomfortable with sharing her stuff. And I was like, look, you just don't know who you're inspiring. And it turns out the person you're inspiring is your sister to be better. And Jess is uncomfortable with it. And I was like, you never know who's watching your story and going, fuck, that's where she was and this is where she is now. You just never know who's watching.
Oh, yeah. Well, even, because if someone else shares some of their stuff and you kind of go, oh, that's a cool movement. like, well, I want to try that.
Yeah.
I want to see if I can do that.
Yeah.
You know, like when we started doing some of the like strict pull-ups and stuff that we've been doing, like they're not movements. They're movements I never went, oh, okay, maybe. But you see other people doing them, you're like, I want to see if I can do that.
That looks cool.
Like that looks really cool. Like I want to have a go. And and it kind of does. Like it kind of all pushes us all to keep showing up every day.
Yeah, for sure. And what do you like most about the studio and being part of this environment?
I think because it's just such a welcoming and wholesome place to be. Like, no one's here to showboat or, you know, make themselves, you know, stand out more or be the loudest person. Like, we're all here to work on ourselves, but at the same time, like, we're all here to support each other in, you know, even just everyday training, during the challenges. You know, every time someone shows up, like if someone's like, oh, I might not come Tuesday night. I'm like, no, like, I'm coming, you should come Tuesday night.
Yeah. Like
it's just that whole sort of community environment that we've all got and that you've created. I love that. I love that it's not, you know, roid head dudes staring at themselves in the mirror and, you know, making lots of noise. I like that when you come here, everyone's like, oh, hey, such and such, hey, how was your weekend? How are the kids? Like, you know, Chris just got a new puppy. Like, you know, you talk about that or, you know, we all kind of know what's going on in each other's lives to a degree. And I just think it's really nice that even though like we're essentially coming to work out, we're also like coming to hang out with everyone. Yeah,
and I notice it in the mornings, like people will hang around after their sessions and while the next group's stretching and warming up and people talk and have that conversation and, you know, you can have that, you know, because often there's only 2 or 3 of us in here at a time. We don't have that group class feel like a lot of places have where you know that at 5 a.m. the 10 people that you know, and people don't know the 6 p.m. people or whatever it is, but it's cool that we have that, you know, everyone sticks around and talks and people come on Saturdays and Saturday's our biggest session of the week and everyone talks and hangs out and, you know, go for coffees afterwards and that sort of stuff. And it's a cool thing to have and be a part of.
Yeah, and especially like during the challenges, like we're all in it to kind of win essentially. But, you know, even before like the fitness test, Chris would have completed his before I even started. So he'd come down and he'd be like, right, this is what you need to do. Yeah. Here's how I did it. Here's how Craig's going to tell you to do it. And, you know, it was really helpful because I'm like, he didn't have to tell me. He could just go, nah, bugger you. I'm going to do it and I'm just going to focus on me. Yeah. So the fact that, you know, and then I did the same, Tam would come after me and I'd be like, right, Tam, this is what Chris told me. This is what I didn't do. This is what you should do. Yeah. And it's just nice that even though we're all competing against each other, we're at the end of the day, we're all going to support each other and hang around and scream and cheer each other on and push them further because, you know, I like that I have someone there doing that for me. So I want to be able to do that for the other people who show up to come and do their workouts. Yeah, for sure. And what are your goals for the rest of 2021, health and fitness wise? Do you have any goals that you've thought about? I have actually. Well, obviously surfing's one of them. Yep. But the other thing that I kind of want to do is, you know, through the challenge, like I got back into running and I was able to do like my 5Ks non-stop. So I think towards week 10, week 11, I think I pushed myself to do 7Ks. Yeah. And it was just get past that 5 because I knew I could do it. Yeah. And 7 hurt. Like I think, you know, the way I paced it and everything was completely wrong and I slowed down, but obviously not enough to leave enough in the tank to do 7Ks. So I want to get back into that because ideally by the end of the year, and I probably will do it well and truly before that, but I'd like to do 10. Yep. Even if it's not fast, even if it's slow, I want to be able to run 10Ks consistently, non-stop. Well, I'll tell you what, when you're ready to run 10, I'll come with you and I'll run 10 with you because I know I can run 10. So when you're ready to do your 10, we'll do it together. Done. All right? So that way you'll have someone there because I know how hard it was to run my first 10K and I think Ahmed and I did it maybe 2 years ago. I'd never run 10K before and we did 10K. I've only run 10K maybe 3 times in my life. But I honestly don't think I have since high school. Yeah. Since doing it. And it's a cool challenge and then, you know, you'd be like Larissa and then fucking run 42, which will probably never happen. Yeah, I don't think that'll ever happen. I think we can both agree that will never happen. No, I don't have any desire to do that. But that's a cool goal and then once you tick that off, you can look at another goal. And I think it's something, because like when I first did the 5Ks non-stop, I went, all right, cool, I did it in this time. Well, I'm going to try and shave time off that. Yeah. And I think for me to have something that I go, oh, okay, well I did 10. Yeah. Well, do it again and try and do it quicker. Yeah. And, you know, where I am now, it's nice and flat, so I don't have to worry about like any really crazy hills like my old place.
Yeah.
Which slows you down a lot.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, makes a big difference.
So, yeah, no, and just I think like the big one is just maintaining like what I achieved and got to at the end of the challenge, and just not losing that and losing that strength. So,
yeah,
keeping it.
Yeah, cool. Is there anything else you want to add? Anything else you want to talk about? That's it?
Not that I can think of.
Not that you can think of? Well, I hope everyone got something out of that. Obviously, like, challenges are a little bit different to just normal training with the fitness tests and stuff like that. So on that, I have decided to mix it up, at least for the rest of this year and next year. So for those of you who are listening to this, we do have a different challenge coming up in August. It will be a 10-week challenge instead of 12. There'll be no fitness element to it. It will just be based on body fat and photos for the main prize. And then I have had a lot of people say to me that they don't like photos. So obviously not obviously, but I have a lot of clients who may not be comfortable with getting in the trainer room and getting their clothes off in front of me, which is totally understandable. So we are going to have a category for people who just want to do a body scan, and there'll be a prize for that as well. So change it up, mix it up, and see how it goes. So we'll have a major and a mini challenge at the start of next year as well, and then we'll do the 10-week challenge. We've got a new cup for it, so there'll be another cup that's going up there to add to the other 2 cups we've got up there. The trainer cup, trainer appreciation trophy. So yeah, that'll be something new at the end of the year to see how that works. And yeah, thank you for coming on Blueprint Raw and talking about your journey. I think it's really, really important to share it, and hopefully, and like I said, you never know who you're inspiring, you never know who's listening, and you never know what people are going to get out of it. So thanks to everyone for listening or watching. As always, you can listen to all the episodes on Apple and Spotify. If you do have any questions, feel free to flick me a message, Facebook, Instagram. I think I said last time, leave a comment on YouTube, which I don't think anyone ever has, which is cool. I think this is episode 76, which is pretty cool. Only 24 more away from 100. When I first started these, I never thought I would get this far. And yeah, I think you're about the 5th guest on here, so awesome.
Special.
Very special. Thanks everybody, and have a great week.
Bye everyone.
Bye.